Alright, so at this time the most important thing for us to be looking at is the disinfection of surfaces. So our tools are protective gloves, our disinfectant, and our appropriately colour-coded microfiber cloth. Okay, so talking about the cloth, number one, it's really important that we only use one cloth on one site. So if you're doing multiple sites, just have one set of equipment for each site. So there's no chance of moving any viruses from one place to the next. Cross-contamination is going to be a big one, and we'll talk about that in future videos. The disinfectant is our standard disinfectant, but we've doubled the concentration, so we were already running at the maximum recommended, but you know, double concentration's got to be a good thing, so that's where we're at with that. So we're in a small space here that's got doors, it's got multiple touch points, so I'm just going to take you around this small area here, and hopefully what you can pick up from this you can apply into your areas. And totally, if you guys have questions that come from any of this, then communicate it back to us, and we will bring on your ideas. I mean, you guys will probably know some really important stuff that I'll miss in this, so we can build your knowledge in on this as well as we go. So starting here, we'll start with the door, because this is a really important one. It's actually quite a complicated surface to be cleaning. We've got a pull handle here, we've got a door edge here, and then we've got push plates and surfaces on the other side. So what I'm going to do is, rather than spray this onto the surface, what tends to happen is you get a localized wet spot and then overspray that goes on the floor and all over the place. So to manage things a little bit more effectively, I spray directly onto my cloth. I'm getting that quite wet. So what I want to do is wipe the push plate and sort of that area there, anywhere where people might be touching, and on the push side it's big. So wipe that off, and what we're getting is, you'll probably see a layer of moisture there. The effectiveness of disinfectant comes with time, so having the surface slightly moist will enable it to kill the viruses as it evaporates off. So I've done my push surface. I then wipe down the door edge, because people are always touching that as they open and close, and then I wipe the pull surface and make sure that I get the back plate as well as the handle, so that there is all now nicely disinfected. Okay, then I will continue on around the room, and I make this the first thing I do when I go into a space. So I just purely focus on, alright, so I've walked into a room, I'm going to start out by disinfecting everything, and then I will get on with the rest of my tasks. So I'll follow a wall, and I'll work my way around the room. So this wonderfully beeping device here, we'll come over here, we've got a pulled surface and a handle. There's a handprint there. I'll just come through while I'm here and do the back side. I would have done that better if you were filming me. Then touch point, wipe the surfaces. Coming through in here, we've got multiple touch points here, so I'm going to wipe those, and then I would do the handrails around the outside to make sure that all of those touch points are clean. Okay, I'll just get some more disinfectant. loading my cloth up again. So now we've got a horizontal surface here. So you would apply the same thinking to desks or anything like that. So again, you can see I'm leaving a bit of moisture on that surface, so that's just going to have a sort of an accumulative effect against the virus and kill it off. I don't want that dry. I want to just make sure that that's a nice moist surface, and I don't want it too wet either. I don't want it saturated. I just want it to be nice and even. The downside of leaving it like that is it can get streaky. So what you might have to do is go through afterwards with a dry cloth and just polish off any streaks that might remain. So the interesting thing about this coronavirus is, as far as viruses go, it's actually really fragile. They have what they call a lipid coating around the virus, a protective coating. And so a good degreaser will break down that lipid coating and render that virus inactive. So from a cleaning perspective, it's actually a really good virus to be dealing with. We can really effectively remove this from the surfaces. If things start getting more intense, then we'll probably have to change our cleaning solution and the process of application, but we can deal with that in the future when it becomes appropriate. So I hope that gives you a good understanding of what we're doing and how we achieve it. And definitely, if you guys have any questions, please fire them through so that we can answer them and build your knowledge into this process. Thanks very much, guys. Bye-bye.